and women on this fellowship. And thank you so much, my brother Dixon, who took the honor and the privilege of inviting me to this fellowship. And thank you, Afandi. I can see the moderation is going to be very excellent. And I love this one because, yeah, not many people would think that now this fellowship is being led by a police officer. Thank you for studying in God's work. So, and I'm also, of course, honored by you, sharing that brief bio about me. And I'm such happy and thrilled to have joined you. I think this is my first time. I've been to several fellowships, but for this one, I think this has been my first time. And I used to look at it, and because of schedule conflicts, then I failed to join in. But Mukama Simwe Munonga, thank you for joining in, and especially those who are still joining in. And we are going to have a good time sharing the word of God together. So shall we pray? God, our loving Father, we want to thank you this time. We want to thank you for many things, but most importantly, for giving us the life, the energy to be here to share your word. Lord, we know there are so many people who would like to join, but perhaps they could not join. There are those who are still on the way, and we wait that they can join us. But we also pray for those who have joined, that you open the ears, the physical ones, and those in the heart to listen to your word. Please use me as a vessel. And I know whatever I'm going to share in this fellowship will continue to build your ministry and above all, your kingdom. I ask you to be with us throughout so that you distract all these other negative things that normally interrupt online fellowships, whether it is data, whether it is hackers, whether it is all those things that distract our attention. Be with us through so that we are able to listen and be fulfilled your word. I ask this through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, when I received this topic, and it was like, so this is it. This is something that really touches every one of us. This topic is so rich and wide. And at one point I was like, where should I stop? In terms of minutes, in terms of even content that I would be sharing. But brethren, I want to use perhaps around 30 minutes, then we can have more of the discussions. And for me, in order to present something within the time limit, I usually do not prepare slides. Why? Because slides, sometimes they can take you too much away beyond the time that is, available. But let me start by saying, and quoting, I think, the verse which was read for us, for majority of you have joined after the lesson was read, which was taken from Joshua 1 and from 1 to 9. And I think it is verse 8 and 9, where God is providing confidence to Joshua that be determined and be confident. Because the assignment that God was giving Joshua, he assured him that he will be with him all through. Because after the death of Moses, and Moses, who had just done such an incredible work over the years, had passed on. But the children of Israel had not yet crossed the promised land. And in this chapter, God had already defined where these his children would be located geographically. And the promised land was now very clear and well known. And for the last part of these people settling, he had to request Joshua to step in Moses' shoes and make sure that he can lead. And I was looking at this chapter, equating it with the responsibility that God has given us as parents to be in a position to take care of our families with all that confidence and determination. And of course, from the book of Genesis, we see the responsibility that God gave man to preside over the entire creation and be in position to grow it, to expand it, to use it, to make sure that then he fulfills all the God's promises. And in this, therefore, when as parents we are given families, we are given like an opportunity to shine. It's just like you are given a job, and that job description does not clearly give you limits in which you are likely to operate. And when we start having families that will have many people, but most importantly, those that will relate to us very closely, would be your spouse, your children, your immediate relatives, your neighbors, and then the other community that you live with. All those people are under your dominion as a parent, as a father, as a mother, as a head of the family. And therefore, it becomes like an organization. Now, when we start talking about positive or affirmative words, what are those words that you are likely to use when you are taking care of this family? You know, and you will agree with me that many of you have gone through positive parenting, and Dixon normally shares with us a lot of professional. I love his articles, I love his writing, and I follow them. Every time he posts something on the charts, I must go and read it to the letter. Why? Because positive parenting, it is the whole process in which then we are supposed to exercise our own wisdom to preside over the families and give the families direction. And when you are giving the family direction, it means you have to be now, you have to have great understanding on how you are going to communicate, because words are part of communication, okay? And these words, definitely, you will have to use them appropriately at any given time. And you'll find yourself with all these tools, all these words that you think are so important in order to nurture, grow, and prosper your family, you know? And in order to do this, I just wanted to make sure that I define, you know, the family and how communication in this family is likely to be, okay? Because the way we are going to use this communication and the words within our communication structure are likely to be determine the impact or how the family is likely to, you know, receive your communication, decide or make decision on how they are going to behave or even to act given your own communication or response. And this is very, very important. But I do not want to make a situation where you think you are just going to communicate certain words to everyone, just like the way I'm speaking right now. Because we need to understand, and this takes me a little bit back onto my original profession, which is social work. Social work, we are trained to understand people. When you understand people, then you know how to deal with those people. And I think for those who have done psychology or sociology or only any of these social science subjects, you will understand that until you understand what the community is, the people within the community, even you segregate further this very community. So at family level, you need to look at the people that you have within the family. Now, we have the young ones. These young ones who are like 0 to 2 years. That stage, it is you communicating direct. So when you are communicating, I can tell you the communication at that stage is not likely to be verbal. So you are not likely to be using words. As the mother is breastfeeding the baby, they communicate, sign language, using eyes, using fingers, using facial expression, using all sorts of communication tools, okay? Now, the child, as the brain develops, starts recognizing what different signs or gestures mean something. And the child also learns how to communicate, or using voice, like crying or smiling, or putting different movements, just to demonstrate or show that this is what I want. And the parent learns to understand that if a child behaves in this way, then this is what is expected. So that is communication. Now, for those and the child starts growing and listening to the words in the house, because everyone is speaking, shouting, talking. But there are common words that will start filtering through, that this child who is growing up starts to understand that when you hear this voice, this is the thing. And that's how they come to learn the mother language, because the language starts from that verbal, or rather non-verbal communication, So it's very important. Now, it is the continuous, consistent communication in those words that then the child will start understanding what is being communicated. Okay? Just like the IT people these days tell us, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are using words from the formative years to a child that are really very negative, then you know that actually the brain's child is just picking negative words. If they are positive words, that's what they are picking. So as they continue to grow, then you will likely to see that they start picking language, they start speaking with you. Some few words, the words keep increasing with age until they reach 3 to 4, and then you start taking them to school. By that time, they will be communicating. But it is not only you who is communicating, but even other people within the house will be communicating. And please pay attention. What common words are being said every day? Because those are the words that everyone else is likely to be picking. But for those ones who are growing up, those are the keywords that are picking up. So if you are that type of child that has grown in a family that is chaotic in all sense, whether they are fighting, whether they are abusing each other, whether they are throwing words anyhow, whether they are, singing, whatever, that's what everyone quickly, especially for the young ones, keep picking up. So some of the things are very difficult even to change, because cognitive development for the young people, I can tell you, it picks things and they just stick. That's why when children go to school and they start learning the first words, they just stick on the brain and they cannot just remove them. Any one of us knows what we are told right in primary school and those other levels of education that we have gone through. Your memory remains very sharp because those words were put on your brain. So you put wrong words, those are the words that will stick there. You put the right words, those are the words that will stick there. If they are the words that you want to always use in the family, be careful. Don't try to mix. When you try to mix, sometimes children get confused. Why? Because they are getting different signals because of the way you are communicating, because of the kind of words you are using. So they get confused, like today you are smiling, you are happy, you are, you are excited, and everything seems to be okay, and everyone is cheerful, and they are running around, and everyone is laughing, and everything is okay. Tomorrow the mood changes, and you are fierce, you are shouting, you are using all derogatory words, and sometimes you end up fighting. So the children start asking, what exactly is happening here? Now, if these children become teenagers, so now you start another war, in quotes. This war is about what the teenager is feeling the body is telling him or her, and the words that you are using. And because the mind is growing, the body is growing, the hormones are becoming sharp, and there is a war in the body of the teenager. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, it is chaos. So if you are not very careful as a parent to understand that certain words that you used when this child was between 6 to 10, this time you have to be extremely careful, because some of those words might not work. Why? They are hitting on the wall. The body and the mind of this teenager is thinking different. So what are you supposed to be using? Now, if this guy has successfully gone through the teenage stage, and I would take you through some of these words, but if this, you are lucky, everything has gone well. They have gone to school, secondary school, they have done HSC, A-level, they have gone to university. This time you are talking almost stops, and they are the ones talking. They have gone out, they are getting exposed, and they are getting more influencers, they are getting peers, they are getting an environment that is completely different from the home in which they used to have those sweet words or terrible words. Now, the point here is, how are you going to navigate, to adjust, and accommodate the new person whom you saw grow as a toddler, becomes a kid, becomes a child in school, becomes a teenager, an adolescent, stubborn one, and now they are going to university, they are becoming independent. They are no longer children at 18, they are now becoming independent-minded people who can make decisions, sometimes without consulting their parents. What are you going to be saying? What kind of words are you going to use? Now, I'm showing you all this just to help you understand that you are going to adjust the way you communicate and the words that you are going to use at these different stages of growth of a human being. If you understand that, then you are not going to be a parent or a family leader who says, my word is final. My word is this. Understand? This is the way things are. And this is the way I expect everyone to behave. Now, if you have certain individuals who are not going to stand that statement, how are you going to continue interacting, communicating, and living? If you are not living together, you still need to communicate. So what approach are you going to use? And therefore, for majority of the parents, they have found it a little bit tricky to think that it is impossible that they can change. Noma yefumu y'abanyankore ngo nahinduka kitanda konka rimita kujirata. So now, it is even more interesting and complicated now, these days, when communication has shifted from individuals, one person to person, and we're using digital tools, and we communicate through social media. Even when people are sitting together in the same living room, they communicate to each other through messages on their phones. Okay? Why? Because sometimes things get so emotional and it is not very easy to communicate face to face. Otherwise, it becomes a shouting, competition. Or someone, without trying not to be misinterpreted, they decide to keep quiet, which is also communication, but they don't say anything. No word. They are just sitting there. You are supposed to interpret what this silence means. So when are we supposed to bring out these different words? And I'm keeping you a little bit patient on these words. We understand there are different stages, but just understand the purpose for which you are trying to communicate. For example, if children are going to school and your interest is to see them excel at school, that the academic performance is good, there is a way how you are going to consistently communicate, even when the report card does not say or does not give you the expectation, but you have to show that all is okay, that you can do better next time. And therefore, you will find yourself trying to make sure that when you are dealing with a student, there is a way how you are going to communicate. Why? Because positive parenting is about inspiring, is about motivating. It is about pulling someone's ear. There is an old man who used to be a head teacher or primary teacher in the 70s. So every time we meet that man, and sometimes on our hills, on our local village in Chibingo Shema, and you want to help him out, his greeting, which was so nice, and he would just pull your soft ear, the lower part, pulling it, just show you that he would like you to think, see beyond what you are talking about. And he's like, okay, I want about you, but you are pulling me. So he would like to know more about, but he's just trying to pick your attention. So if you are dealing with anybody in academics, they easily get irritated, they are emotionally stressed, they need very positive words of encouragement. So all these affirmative words are about encouragement. Now, for those of you who have dealt with young people who are in sports, the whole reason why sports activities have spectators is all about providing confidence, providing, support, emotional support, physical support, the cheering, the everything that is there, even by seeing the crowd and clapping, and it is all about trying to help the person that even in the midst of difficulty, they can still make it. And we have seen in our sports, whether they are these guys who are listening and following the English Premier Leagues, or these watching secondary school games that are going on, or even other athletics competition, everything around sports. People have to come around you and communicate in a way that they are saying, we know it is a competition, you still have to make it. And even when they fail, they still have to clap. They still have to thank them. They still have to encourage them. They still have to show that this is not the end, okay? And that gives the person who is in the competition hope, faith, that they will make it. Just like in academics, sports had the same way in which you have to be. But if you want to use the negative side of things and you start fighting, I'm telling you, people easily give up. Why? Because their body is tired. Then you need to make sure that you keep the emotional part of this individual very strong, even when the body is weak. And of course, I don't want to talk about many more other things that fall into that category. For some of us who are in business, I can tell you, it is tough. It is tough. Everyone is fighting for that very customer. Even if someone does not come to my shop to buy, but the day they visit, just to appreciate what I'm doing, just to give me encouragement, just to appreciate my challenges, I feel empowered, I feel strengthened, I feel that I have to persist. It's a real resilience. And therefore, for majority of the young people who go into business, these days there is what they call business startups. And everyone is saying, self-employed, I have to do something. Because there are no jobs. For the first time in the history of this country, we have seen doctors crying for jobs. Doctors never, ever, they were assured that the job is there the following day. Right now, I'm counseling a few of the intern doctors here in Barara. And they are saying, now that government doesn't want us, our education was too expensive, now we can't get the jobs, can you help us start a business? Now, for those who are starting business, I want to tell you that there are so many startup failures than successes. They start this, they fail. They start on another one, it fails. They start on another one, it fails. Brethren, it's not easy. So how do you make sure that you keep someone going? A few minutes ago, I was in another fellowship and I was telling them, never give up on something. Why? Because for everything that you see glamoring, beautiful, going, it's building, it's growing, they are going through a lot. But they have kept the faith and they have remained very resilient. And they are in there. They never give up, like the motto of Gayaza High School. And what do they see? You will see, for example, these hotels that are mushrooming, coming up, buildings, arcades, whatever. Those are excellent examples to give to your children. That even when they are struggling with startups, you say, look at that building. It has taken decades, but someone is there. They started somewhere small, but now see where it is. There could have been so many who folded and went back to the village. But at least there are those that have successfully gone through. So the economy is growing, people are developing many things, have new houses being built, hotels, so many things. They are coming up every day. And therefore, the thinking does never stop. It continues. Those who are in professional career, I can tell you, I found you already talked about something around mental health with soldiers and all these things. People have given up on life. People have given up on hope. People have given up on promotion. People have given up on new jobs. People are stuck in jobs they don't want. People are stuck with low pay. People are stuck with many things, but they can't live. To the point that even those that are being or soon retiring, they don't even know where they are going. But if you ask them whether they are satisfied on their current jobs, they will say no. We want more pay. We want more medical insurance. We want more benefits. We want more this. We want more this. We want more that. But the point here is, how do they survive there? Someone must be around them, encouraging them. Perhaps your own wife. She could be at home and you are the one working. And every time you come with little, she says, don't worry, I understand. If it is your wife working and it is you at home, and every time she comes in the evening, I can hear my wife knocking on the door, hooting the car. She's tired. She wants someone to welcome her from her business. Whether she made a profit or not, I still have to say, keep going. I understand. Things are not very easy. I can tell you, everyone, wherever you are, that's how things are. If you're in the ministry, especially look at all these people who are in the church. They are reverends, bishops, all these people serving us in the ministry. I can tell you, those people, they go through a lot, but they are in there. They are not living. And yet, even when they are not comfortable, they are not happy, they are not feeling strong, they are feeling down, their esteem is low, you still go there and they bless you. You still go there and they counsel you when your own things get really very bad. And therefore, you find yourself in a counseling situation where both of you are really in a bad state, but one is helping the other to feel strong. And you have to use those words that will keep you moving. And unfortunately, for majority of us, we think they are okay, and you don't even ask them whether they are also fine. You don't. It is you on the receiving end all the time, just like these little kids who ask for everything every time because they are entitled. But do you ever get back to your boss and say, I know also what you are going through. It's not easy. You say, I feel you. I understand you. I wish things can be better for all of us. Or you want to sit back and say, it is only me who should be comforted, counseled, because you are the guilty one all the time. And therefore, someone else is the aggressor. Things are not easy, even for the head of the family. they need to be spoken to in these very, very affirmative and positive words. And therefore, there are several things. Of course, marriage has its own issues, and we keep moving a marriage, not just because things are okay, but because we are meant to be there. And we have a purpose to be in a marriage. And there are all these other people around us. If you give up as a spouse in a marriage, because you haven't been encouraged enough, always think, how about all these other people who depend on me, who think I'm okay? People are just smiling. Inside, they are just shedding tears. They are invisible tears. But because of the sake of everyone else in the family, they definitely have to keep everyone going. When they are keeping you going, please always go back and say, thank you. And I know you're also going through a lot. It's never enough, whether it is money, whether it is other things that are supposed to be provided. Okay? Now, I'm almost through, but I was just looking at very few words, you know. If you are dealing with young people, this is what I started with. There are quick words that you can come through. For example, if these are students, you keep on saying, you are shining. You make me smile. I'm proud of you. You are special. You are unique. I believe in you, even when they are failing, you know. You have made my day when they bring the report. You are so helpful. You support your colleagues. This is very nice. I like your smile. When you laugh, I feel happy also. You brighten my day. You have my great attitude. Keep up the good work. You are shining star. You are the talented. You amaze me. You are incredible. You are so kind. You are so thoughtful. You are so joyous around us. Now, if you are using those words all the time with all these kids, now they're in holiday, they will go back, they come stressed every time they give them assignments, but you do not get away from them all the time. What you are providing is this. This is extremely, very beautiful. That's what you are supposed to do. And like some of us who came through a community, a family structure, where every small mistake, there was a stick around the mom or dad, and you are supposed to behave. And your behavior is just because you see a stick around there. Your misbehavior knows there is always some good lashes on your buttocks. Whether you have mishandled goats when you're grazing, whether you have pulled down, you know, we used to go to the wells to bring water, and then there's that clay pot, you push it down. You know, there are so many mistakes that a child does, and the only thing the parent does is to give them those slashes, you know? So their behavior is only tailored on being beaten. But these days, I don't think you are going to beat. It's not going to be easy for you. Never. Okay? Now, if these are people starting to work and you think their startups is challenging, but they still need to get on, then perhaps you are going to think around another set of words that are encouraging, that are inspiring, that are motivating, that give them hope. Okay? So you keep, like you were saying, you're on the right track. You have worked so hard on that. I have heard you say how you feel. Don't give up. You know, what you did turned out so well. Please continue doing it. That's coming along the way nicely because you are seeing the process through which they are doing certain things. You are just about to get it right. Please hang in there. You know, once they get it, you say, that's it. You cheer up, you toast, you drink, you do anything that can make everyone happy, you know, and you keep saying, I knew you could do it. Congratulations. I love hearing about your work. You are such a superstar. You have solved it yourself. I thought I was the one going to do it, but you have done it yourself. Keep working on it. You know, these are the kind of positive words that you are going to use. Not these ones. I knew you would fail. You have always disappointed me. I saw it long ago. I saw it coming. It would not have been like this. You know, those are some of the terrible words that many people those who are killing other people's children, or killing other people's business. These are some of the things. And I can tell you, brethren, there are people who are wicked. You live with them. Everything they see is negative. Even when you are smart, they don't see that. When you are beautiful, they don't see it. When you are succeeding on this, they never see anything positive on you. They are just waiting for you to start making a mistake, and the shouting starts, And some of those parents are there. I want you to note those ones. But let me tell you, because I came growing up from a background that had a lot of negative energy, sometimes because of the people around you, your peers are not encouraging you, you are ever fighting. In school, it's competition, it's in this negative competition. Even now in the business, we have negative business competition that people cannot even show you where they buy things, so that you can go and spend a lot of money. When you bring them, then you don't make any profit out of them. So there are those who will hide from you and always don't want to show you how to get things done better. But this is what I learned from my American colleagues. I work with Americans, we interact a lot, we have done a lot of things together over the decades. But even when they are about to sack you, they will never say any single negative word on you. They will always say those nice words. And you know their words? Excellent, fantastic, amazing, it's great. I love you. Keep it up. This is terrific. This is outstanding. This is perfect. Nice work. This is tremendous. And when they are speaking it in their accent and their tone, you would think that nothing else negative is about to happen to you. Even when they write a letter of termination, it is just full of sweet words, because they are reflecting only on the good things that you did with them. But they are saying, we just wish you good luck on your new post, on your new endeavor, in your new world, in your do this. Now, I keep asking my fellow Africans, and for those of you who are in offices, because of your authority and power, overlooking over others, because of your position where you sit, you are CEO, you are this and this, you are the highest rank, you are this and that. And you just look at everyone as if they're stupid. They don't think enough. They don't do enough. They are always below your expectation. Performance standards are not coming through. They give you performance appraisal. You always write those terrible words. Come on, guys. If you are a Christian, this is your time to change. This is your time to change. Please don't kill other people's energy with your negative energy, with your negative attitude, with your pride, with your being proud, with your attitude of thinking that just because you are the one sitting there, it is as if others will not sit in there. And I love those people who grow into ranks and then they become nicer. They become good people. They start helping. They are everywhere. They intervene when you invite them. They come for every function. They don't make themselves too busy. They are always available. Those are the people who show the world the good things. And even if they don't say many words, what they are demonstrating is good enough. It is good enough. I don't want to be sitting somewhere and the leader is saying, you pigs. No, never. I would rather not attend that rally. Mistakes are committed by all human beings. By all human beings. And you can be there today, tomorrow you are not. You'll be pulled down. Afande, Mchunguzi, you are going to grow in ranks. Make sure that your trail is good, that people can speak good things about you in every position and post that you will be holding. You are superintendent of police. Tomorrow you will be senior superintendent. Another year you will be assistant commissioner. You will become a commissioner. You will become a senior commissioner. You will become an assistant inspector general of police. You will become deputy IGP and IGP in Jesus' name. This is what we expect, that as you grow on all these ranks, please make sure that everyone can join in celebration every time it is given. So as Africans, what happened to those words that we speak when someone dies and we can't speak the same words when they are alive? And this is what I want to end up with. How do you communicate messages when you are low, or when you are stressed, when you are unhappy, when you are sad? How do you communicate? When you are disappointed, when you are frustrated with your own job, with your own spouse, with your own children, with the world, with business. These frustrations keep coming up. You can't stop them. But how do you put up that face and make sure that you are able to keep your positive words? Because these other people that are around you do not know what you are going through. And you are not supposed to open up anyhow to anyone just because you have been disappointed, frustrated, even demoted, or you are about to lose your job. How do you keep that face? Just like many of you go to hospitals and you are sick, you expect the health worker to put a smiling face. The same health worker you are asking or you expect to be smiling at you in your pain has just seen another patient dying. They have emotions. I've been in the health sector. When we lose our people, they are bad. When our people get back, they are good. But do you know every day the people that go through them dying, and you think they remain stable emotionally? So in conclusion, I want to quote something from Paul's letter to Philippians chapter 4. Okay, let me try to get very quickly to my Philippians 4, and I think it's verse 8 and 9. Okay? And these were very clear instructions which Paul were giving to the Philippians. Verse 8, it says, in conclusion, my brothers and sisters, fill your minds with those things that are good and that deserve praise, things that are true, things that are noble, things that are right, things that are lovely, things that are honorable. For you to do these things that Paul is talking about in verse 8, and you know that all along your mouth hasn't been vomiting these terrible words. Reflect on your mindset and check what really emotionally disturbs you all the time and ask God to help you. Have a positive thinking mindset. And I always see this through WhatsApp groups and what people are posting. You would quickly tell where people are coming from, which families they are coming from, whether they are brought up was being encouraged by a positive person or a terrible negative person. Have the positive energy. And this is what many people try to practice and they can't find it. Why? Because they always want to try to blame someone else. They don't blame themselves. So they always shift everything bad on someone else. And for them, they exclude themselves. But I just want to give you hope. Try to be happy. Even when you are not saying anything, your face will tell you to. And always believe that God is in control. Thank you so much for listening, brethren. Over to you.